Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Calhoun's, and it is time to start talking about their holiday packs. Now, we're always showing you the Feed 5, Feed 10 family packs that come in boxes just like this. November 26th through December 25th, Thanksgiving through Christmas now. You give them 24 hours notice, and they're going to fill these babies up with turkey, dressing, peas, potatoes, gravy, bread, even cheesecake for dessert. And here's the beautiful part. They actually put it in little containers so they don't just dump it all in this box, which I made it sound like. Calhoun's, let them do your holiday cooking for you so it's not as much work for you at home. If the family's coming over, get a box or two or three. Just give them 24 hours notice. That is November 26th through December 25th. Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. All right. Let me welcome in the next two members of today's panel. We have right there Josh Ward, and beside him, Chuck Cavaleras. Gentlemen, thank you. I will start with you. The defense took care of business, as we said. What position group, and I'm going to hold off on the stats. I'm going to make you answer before we show the stats. But what position group, in your opinion, has shown the most improvement year over year?
I think you got to look at the defensive line, don't you? And what they've done and how much that can help other parts of your defense. You've already had one game where you set a Jeremy Pruitt record at Tennessee with 7 sacks. 5 were by the defensive line. And what they've been able to accomplish, and don't forget, wasn't it only 3 returning starts, not starters,
right.
Just 3 returning starts. So, I mean, I think that has to be the most impressive group on the field for Tennessee.
I would agree, especially considering everything they've had to replace from last year. Emmett Gooden's injury, remember the loss of him with his injury. And then the depth that they've built as the season has gone along. They didn't play a lot of guys last year, and they played a good number of players. They've created pressure. Kylan Hill came in from Mississippi State. The fear was what he would be able to do on the ground, and he didn't do anything against Tennessee's defense. So I would say the defensive line. The linebackers, the steps that Daniel Batuli has taken to lead Tennessee's defense deserve some credit as well, but I would go D-line.
And your secondary was good last year. Your secondary was solid last year. But the numbers, maybe it's the pass rush that's improved these numbers, but I will say this in terms of that defensive line. I would agree with you. I think that is the biggest improvement on the defensive by position group. Consider the fact that 2 of the guys you lost are now in the NFL. Right. Tuttle and Phillips both made NFL teams. So you had talent there. But let's take a look at some numbers comparing last year to this year, and it is across the board improvement. Rushing yards per attempt, down. Rushing yards per game, way down. That is a big improvement. Passing yards per attempt, down a little bit. Passing yards per game, down a little bit. Look at the touchdown to interception ratio. Last year, 21 TDs against you, only 9 pick. Flip it to 11 and 13. That's really good. Sacks per game, up a little bit. I think a lot of that traces back to the defensive line, which I'm sure makes Will Overstreet smile.
That does. I mean, just glad to see guys getting dirty in the backfield. I mean, after that Georgia game where you watched a quarterback sit there and not get touched for throwing it 30 times in a game. And it's been amazing because the defensive line change at the beginning of the year was going to have much worse stats, but they've steadily improved throughout this year, and they've gotten better. And even a few weeks ago, we said, well, which one do you think is going to get better throughout the end of the year? And we said offensive line, because offensive line had shown a few more steps. Defensive line had only done one good game. Now they've put a string of games together, and you're starting to go, hey, that looks like the better unit right now than the offensive line.
Let me jump ahead and give another question here. This is a very important question. Maybe the most important question of the day. All right, this is for Bob and Will. Let's go ahead and go to the graphic here. In 1998, following the deaths of some Kentucky football players in an alcohol-related car accident, the battle for the beer barrel was ended, and I think it made sense in '99. It was raw. It was right then. Let's stop it. I understand that. Now, and let's flip this to the next one here. That whole thing didn't stop Kentucky from inking a deal to sell special bottles of Baker's Mark for the past decade with their players and coaches and logos and everything on it. So I guess bourbon okay, beer not. Here's my question. Is it time for Philip Fulmer to call up Mitch Barnhart, who of course has Tennessee ties as well? These are guys that know the tradition. Is it time to call him and say, it's been 20 years. Bring the beer barrel back. Bring the beer barrel. Is it time? Bob?
Yes. And there's one really good reason that kind of jumps out at me. You sell beer in the stadiums.
Exactly.
So if you sell beer in the stadiums, and I mean no disrespect to those kids from
absolutely.
20 years ago, none of that. I thought at the time, the year, don't bring up the beer barrel. And I remember having an argument with Gary Lundy at the Knoxville News Sentinel, who was all for it. Oh, go away, it's bad, it's bad. To me, this comes under the same heading as the world largest cocktail party now
just
being the world's largest
But then, hey,
party.
here's another question.
It's just, bring it back. You sell beer in the stadiums, and can you find it? Where's it
That's
at?
what I was going to say.
I think Tennessee still has it.
Tennessee still has it.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
they haven't destroyed it. Will, where are you on this? Do you care?
No, I really don't care. But
How dare
overall, I think, like you said, if you're selling beer, you're doing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
What's the harm in having a beer barrel that you hang above your head? And you know,
Not to
we
mention,
won.
Not to mention the fact it's not actually filled with beer.
Right.
Nobody taps
They
the
don't
keg.
go in and have a kegger after
Nobody's
it's over
tapping
with.
the keg after.
Crack it mid-fill. You were going to say something, Chuck?
No, I was going to say, where is it? You know, is it in a closet somewhere at UT?
Doesn't
Or-
UT, isn't UT
Which-
showing it off in one of their, fans can walk through rooms? I thought they would be. They're not. Remember they used to have the old, back when it was the old complex, they had the mannequins of Manning and T. Martin.
Yeah.
I think they had the beer barrel in there.
I think if you buy enough beer at Neyland Stadium over
You
the
get-
course of the
they
season, as a
serve it in
kid,
barrels.
Yes, right. You get the
Somebody
beer
should put a
Bring
bounty,
it back.
find the beer barrel.
If
Yeah.
you're selling beer at the stadium and you're putting your logo and your coach's faces all over bourbon bottles,
Yes.
bring back the beer barrel. Not to mention market ice water, which is what they did during Prohibition. Local temperance union here in Knoxville demanded you stop doing that. So they just painted ice water on it, kept giving it out. Bring it back. All right, that'd be a good one for Philip Fulmer, Mitch Barnhart. Which Vols played best? Which Vols played worst? And did anybody wind up on both lists? We'll talk about that next on 3 Up, 3 Down.